Hi folks, how you doing? So today is Saturday, 10th of September, 2022, and once again here I am on my usual spot, and I'm in downtown Sydney doing a little bit of shopping, and I thought to myself, gee whiz, I probably should do a video for you guys to edify the church since it's been a week. So, a lot has happened. We just heard in the last couple of days how Queen Elizabeth has just passed away, and but anyway, moving forward, perhaps I might entitle this video. I've been thinking about this video, and I thought to myself, I might entitle it Recalibrating Your Yom Teruah Theories, if you like, because a lot of Bible scholars think that the rapture of the church can only happen during the Feast of Trumpets. And so the Feast of Trumpets today is September 10th, so we're looking at another 2 weeks thereabout, a little bit more. So a lot of Bible scholars think that the rapture of the church can only happen during Yom Teruah or the Feast of Trumpets. And so, in my view, I think that these Bible scholars, in 2 weeks from now, they will have to recalibrate their thinking about the rapture of the church, and perhaps this video is more towards them. So you guys already know my view about the rapture. I believe in end-time Bible prophecies, so my opinion about the rapture of the church is strictly based, or not my opinion so much, but it's more like to do with end-time Bible prophecies, what the Bible teaches. And already done tons of videos on this. You know what they are. As in Isaiah 17.1, as in the Elam Bible prophecy in Jeremiah 49 verses 34 to 39. Obviously the secret word of 38:39, and Daniel's 9:29, the signing of the covenant, or Isaiah 28:15 for that matter. So these four Bible prophecies are Israel's timetable, and these Bible prophecies, in my view, need to come to pass and be executed at the rapture of the church. If you do a bit of a Bible study yourselves, I was doing this the other day, and I counted at least 40, it's probably more, 40 Bible prophecies that shall come to pass at the rapture of the church. Because if you read the prophecies in Jeremiah, in Isaiah, in Daniel, obviously the four Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Psalm 90, and also Paul's epistles, in Thessalonians, in Corinthians, and so on, about the rapture of the church. Then this, I didn't count them like one at a time, but as a rough estimate, it's probably like 40 plus. So when we have the rapture of the church, we're going to see at least the fulfillment of 40 plus Bible prophecies that will come to pass, or that will be executed when the rapture of the church occurs. So this will probably be a good Bible study for perhaps a preacher or a pastor out there, that they do Bible videos and things like that. This will be actually a good sermon, counting how many Bible prophecies there are, that will come to pass at the rapture of the church. So, but anyway, I just don't think that Jesus is ready to shut, the Noah's Ark, if you like. Of course we are, as in the days of Noah, but you have to ask yourself, can Jesus shut the door, of the ark 2 weeks from now during Yom Teruah? To be honest, I don't think so, because although we are, as in the days of Noah, we know that the world is falling apart. Things are not going to go back to normal, but the world is still functioning. People are still going to work 9 to 5. Although the economy is in tatters, we've got a lot of inflation. Interest rates are going up, and the cost wages are not going up. So that means that all of us are getting squeezed because wages are stagnant, but yet the cost of living and inflation and interest rates are going up. So all of us are feeling the pinch now. All the cost of goods and services have gone up more than 50%, at least, more than 50%. And, this is causing a lot of financial woes to a lot of people. So, I don't think that although we go to these financial woes, I don't think that we're going to have, the great reset, if you like, or, a collapse of the world economy in this dispensation of the church age, because I actually think that is growth, and that Jesus told us in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 9, that we are not appointed unto growth, because just think of what a financial collapse, a world financial collapse will cause, to everybody around the world. Like there will be mass unemployment. As a result of these people that are paying for their mortgages will lose their homes. So there will be, a lot of homeless people. Businesses are going to go down the drain because people won't be able to afford goods. As a result of this, there's going to be a lot of social problems as well. The crime rates, are going to go up, people stealing and so on just to survive. So I think a world financial collapse right now during the church age, in my view, I don't think it's going to happen, but nonetheless, close wave, great reset together with, the world new digital currency. I think this is going to happen during the trip. I don't think that we are appointed unto growth, like the Bible says. Like I said on top of my video, I don't think that Jesus is ready to close, the back of Noah's Ark just yet. Of course, we are in the days of Noah, but I think on a scale from 1 to 100, we probably are about 65 to 70%. And, so for this reason, I don't think that we're going to have the rapture of the church. But the other main reason is that I don't think we're going to have the rapture of the church because of the Israel's impending timetable of 4 Matcha Bible prophecies, like I mentioned on the top of my video. And so until those are fulfilled, I don't think that we're going to have the rapture, because otherwise the tribulation period is going to look very, very messy and it's not going to add up at all. So my opinion is based purely on Bible prophecies. Like some Bible scholars, their view of the rapture of the church is, some believe that it's going to happen during Yom Teruah, but 2 weeks from now, they're going to have to recalibrate their rapture thinking, because it's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. My opinion is based, like I just told you, on the fact that Israel hasn't fulfilled any of its Bible prophecies timetable, and also that we're not fully there yet. As in we're not fully there. We are in the days of Noah, but I don't think we are in a position for Jesus to close up the ark. So or the door of the ark, if you like. So and I think that because of these, Bible scholars will have to think, gee whiz, okay. So where to from now? I think in my view, when the rapture of the church happens, Jesus told us in Matthew 24 that nobody knows the hour except the Father, and and also Paul told us in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 2 that Jesus is gonna come unexpectedly. So and that we need to be watching the geopolitical, and also we need to be studying Bible prophecies as well. So that's when we will know about. Obviously we don't know the hour. We've got to be watching, but Bible scholars, some, like I just said, have the view that the rapture only will happen during the Feast of Trumpets. Others, I can't think how many blood moons we had so far, since the coronavirus. Others are, are looking out for a red heifer, for a red cow. Others are doing math calculations of dice and numbers and all the rest of it. To be honest, in my opinion, none of that is going to work. The only thing that's going to work is actually end-time Bible prophecies. Because I might realize time and again with many videos that unless Israel fulfill these 4, then the tribulation period is going to look very, very messy, and it's not going to add up at all, because say for argument's sake we had the rapture of the church tonight. Okay, so we are in the trib tonight, so how can Israel, be at war with all these impending Bible prophecies, Isaiah, Jeremiah 49 and Ezekiel. We know that the tribulation period is only for 7 years. It can be longer than 7 years. And, these wars, if we had the rapture tonight, is, like I just said, it's going to be longer than 7 years, so it's not going to add up at all. So you guys know what I think. I've done many, many videos. I deleted quite a lot of videos as well, but, I've done many to let you know what's going to happen. So my view on the rapture of the church is entirely based on end-time Bible prophecies. I'm not counting. I haven't got my calculator to count how many, red blood moons we had since this COVID, or, I'm not looking out for a red cow or a red heifer, like some Bible scholars are. And, I don't think that the rapture of the church is going to happen during the Feast of Trumpets. I used to think that, but not anymore, because about 8 months ago, I used to say to myself, gee, we should have had the rapture of the church with everything that has happened, and how come it hasn't happened yet, And I prayed to God to help me solve this puzzle. And I have solved this puzzle for you guys, and I told you all the Bible prophecies that I needed. If you watch that video that I did entitled on handing over to use the key to the rapture of the church, in that video I go into detail of the major Bible prophecies that need to be fulfilled, before the rapture and at the rapture of the church. So watch that. Now, I already knew before then, what was needed, but the Holy Spirit allowed me to do that video that I did, handing over to use the key to the rapture of the church in His own particular time. So I did it when it was required, according to the Holy Spirit, that He came in this direction. So, but I knew before then, because I did many videos telling you what was needed anyway. So, but long story short, my opinion on the rapture of the church is not so much an opinion of, being a self-opinionated person. It's based on purely on end-time Bible prophecies, just purely on end-time Bible prophecies. And, I always wanted to search the puzzle, because Jesus told us, in Matthew 24, and also Paul told us in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 2, that, Jesus is going to come unexpectedly. So I thought to myself, and Paul told us to watch, and also Jesus as well, and I thought to myself, how can we narrow this down? How can we solve this puzzle, And hence that video that I did, for you guys, might you realize, time and again with many videos, that, the rapture of the church is going to happen with these 4 Bible prophecies. See, the church age right now, it's not so much about the church age anymore, It's more like God now preparing the nation of Israel to fight the tribulation period. And so, until Israel gets rid of these 4 Bible prophecies, then it's going to be, but it's going to be, we can't go into the trib without them 4. That has to happen, because I might realize that otherwise the trib is not going to work at all. So that's my view on things. So I think moving forward now, because I know that the rapture of the church is not going to happen during Yom Teruah, then Bible scholars are going to have to start thinking, okay, so where to from now, Well, let me give you my view on that. My view on that is that when the rapture of the church happens after Israel fulfills these 4 Bible prophecies, that will actually be the fulfillment of the Feast of Trumpets, okay? And Yom Kippur, or the Feast of Atonement, will actually be the fulfillment of when the true witnesses come to, down to Israel to oversee the rebuilding of the third temple, and also when this angel preaches the everlasting gospel, because you have to realize that Jesus, he won't be able to come down to fulfill the Feast of Yom Kippur or Atonement, because he's obviously in heaven opening up the seals and and executing God's 7-year plan of wrath on the earth. So Jesus cannot come down to fulfill the Feast of Atonement. He's going to have to rely on Elijah and Moses. Now, I decipher for you Moses in Malachi, chapter 3, verse 1, and obviously Elijah is there on chapter 4, verse 5, I believe, from memory. So, yeah, Jesus won't be able to come down, and so atonement will be done by the two witnesses, Moses and Elijah, plus these angels that's going to be preaching the everlasting gospel. Now, the book of Revelation doesn't precisely say how long this angel is going to be preaching the everlasting gospel, so who knows? Could he be doing it for a day, 3.5 years, the full 7 years of the trip? Well, we don't know, it doesn't say, so I can't tell you that, but nonetheless, we know that he's going to preach the everlasting gospel. So, and then Jesus will come down with us with the signs to fulfill, the Feast of Tabernacles or Sukkot. Now, some Bible scholars think that at the end of the tribulation period, they think that there's going to be a rapture because they would have read Matthew 24, verse 31, I believe. I think I did a video on this the other day, but I deleted that video because it didn't get that many views, and so I thought it was probably a bit of a waste of time. So I don't know if I'm going to keep this video either, so I'll get edified with this now. Now, if you read Matthew 24, verses 29 to 30, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's talking about how Jesus is going to come down with great glory, okay? But Matthew 24:31 is where Bible scholars are getting themselves into trouble. They think that somehow relates to a rapture. Not so in my view. What Matthew 24:31 is saying is that as Jesus comes out first in glory, under Matthew 29 and 30, when the angel blows that trumpet, as it says, and an angel shall blow, a trumpet on Matthew 24:31, and all these, what do you call it? I forget the precise word. And all these signs, and the angel shall gather all the signs from the four corners of heaven. What's that saying is that it's actually going to be us. Jesus is going to come down first under Matthew 29 and 30, and then on Matthew 24:31 it's us, the signs. In other words, this angel is going to blow a trumpet. He's going to gather, that's what the elect, not the saints, sorry, the elect, I was just trying to think. So when that angel sounds that trumpet of Matthew 24:31 to gather the elect from the four winds, that's not a rapture. That's Jesus getting the angel to sound the trumpet to call us the saints to follow Jesus, because don't forget that we deserve a trump because we are saints, we are in heaven, And so Jesus is also glorifying us, with a trumpet. Hey, follow me. That's what Matthew 24:31 is all about. Is the angel blowing the trumpet, letting all of us know, all the saints in heaven, the elect, if you like, hey, gather because you're following Jesus now for the battle of Armageddon and the Millennium Kingdom. So that's what it means. I just wanted to edify the church and help any Bible scholars that are having issues understanding this Bible prophecy. So, like I said, I gave you a video entitled, handing over to use the keys of the rapture of the church. But, if you count how many prophecies will come to pass at the rapture of the church, it's more than 40. Like I said on top of my video, you're looking at, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Psalm 90. You're looking the prophecies in the epistles of Paul, in Corinthians, in Thessalonians, so there's 40 plus. So do your sons. This will be actually a good Bible study for a preacher and ordained minister, if you like, a pastor, if you like, So it would be good to edify, if someone could do this to edify the church, Now, I know what they are, but you can do this study yourselves. If you look at the prophecies that I just told you now, I think that the rapture of the church is probably going to happen around 6 months from now, perhaps back end of January or into January, perhaps even early March. And I say this because, Psalm 90 is actually knocking on the door. Psalm 90 is what executes Jesus' parable of the fig tree, found in Matthew 24, verses 32 to 34. And so, if we are to believe Psalm 90 as a prophecy, because, the book of Psalm is actually a book of prophecies, then, Israel is already 74, and Psalm 9 is already knocking on the door. So, it's got to happen, folks, in 6 months from now, because then come May 23, May 14, Israel's going to be 75. So we know that by Psalm 9, generations between 70, and if for reason by strength, 80 years. So if you go by that, then, do your sums. It's got to be by January or February next year. Don't forget that Israel had its first ever elections on the 25th of January in 1949, and that's when the Knesset was already open and open up for democracy, if you like. So it was really the beginning of Israel's democracy when they had their first election. So perhaps we could use that date. That's why I keep saying that it could be late January, February, even early March. And then also because of Psalm 90, and also because Turkey has just signed, diplomatic relations with Israel, and so this probably is gonna, expand, the length as to when the rapture of the church is going to happen. So it's not like, between now and 2 weeks from now, at Yom Teruah, it's not like Turkey is gonna rip up its papers, that they just signed with Israel for diplomatic and commercial reasons. That's why it's going to take longer, I think, for the rapture of the church, because of Turkey signing this deal. But nonetheless, right now we got Isaiah 17.1 at the Elam Barrel Prophecy, Jeremiah 49, very hot at the moment. Those two prophecies can happen at any moment now, because Iran is provoking the nation of Israel with its nuclear program. And I watched Israel 24 News the other day, and I'm led to believe that what they were trying to say is that Iran is very close now to having a warhead on some kind of missile or whatever. So this Ilan Battle prophecy is red hot, and also Aleppo's international airport in Syria was bombarded recently, and so this tells me that Isaiah 17.1 and the Elam Battle prophecy in Jeremiah 49 verses 34 to 39 are red hot. That can happen at any moment. So and then obviously this will be the provocation, because obviously Syria and Iran are going to get on the phone to Vladimir Putin, and we want this great northern war, and also for the fact that Russia has already closed its pipeline. I think it's the Nord Stream pipeline number 1 that has stopped supplying gas to Europe, and so the European Union signed a gas deal with Israel. I did my research on the 15th of June, so in a few months from now, Europe will be in winter. Even right now, now that they have no gas, I'm pretty sure they're being on the phone to Israel to get them to send gas, because I think Israel needs to send the gas to Egypt to get a refund, and then Egypt will will send it back into Europe, if you like, on ships. So don't forget that in countries like Germany, France, Spain, and Italy, that's 4 countries that have very heavy industry. A lot of manufacturing comes out of there, and so they rely heavily on gas, for their economy. So not that I haven't heard nothing on the news yet, but surely something has to happen within the next couple of weeks. They're probably using whatever they got in their gas supplies, to maintain their economy now. But surely, in the next couple of weeks or so, we're going to be hearing some kind of news saying that Israel has started to, export gas into Europe under this deal. So, we've got to watch out for that, folks. All these, Elam, Messiah, which are red hot, plus, this gas thing, Russia's going to get upset at this, and all this is going to lead to Ezekiel 38, 39. We all know this because of Bible prophecy. So, the Bible tells us what's going to happen. The Bible is a book of past, present, and future Bible prophecies, and my opinion is completely based on end-time Bible prophecies. I'm not counting on the red heifer. No, I'm not counting on, red, blood moons or whatever. I'm not looking at numbers. I'm not looking at any of that, because Jesus told us, precisely in Matthew 24 that no man knoweth the hour. And Paul also told us in 1 Thessalonians 5:2 that Jesus is going to come unexpectedly, so nobody knows. So we can't really go by numbers or by a red heifer or a cow. This is only, we will know when these by end time Bible prophecies, when Israel fulfills its timetable of Bible prophecies. That's what they are there for. So already done a very complete study on all this. So watch that video that I did entitled Handing Over to You the Keys to the Rapture of the Church. And I shared that video because it only got like roughly about 700 views. And how many Christians are there? Yeah, it's only got 700 views. Like, my channel doesn't get, not many views. So I wonder how many people know the truth. So you're more than welcome to share that video. You have my permission. You can share any of my videos here. Like, this is all for you guys to edify the church. So, yeah, that's my view on things. So just to recap, so we got 26 minutes, okay? So yeah, just to recap, the rapture of the church is not going to happen during Yom Teruah. In my view, you Bible scholars that think that somehow it has to, you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, recalibrate your rapture thinking. My view is that, if you want me to help you here, my view is that once Israel fulfills this Mind 4, obviously there's 40 plus Bible prophecies, but this Mind 4 are Israel's timetable. Once that happens, that's when the rapture of the church will happen. And don't forget that Psalm 9 is knocking on the door, so I'll keep all these 6 months from now, but although I'm not setting a date, but by May next year, Israel is going to be already 75, so yeah, folks, it's, we are in the days of Noah, but on a scale from 1 to 10, we are a 7, I think, or a 6.5, so I don't think Jesus is going to close, the back door of the ark come 2 weeks from now. I think we need Israel to fulfill them 4, and then after that, we're really going to be in the days of Noah, and then, at any moment after that, watch, because Jesus is going to come, like Paul said, and like Jesus himself said in Matthew 24, at any moment that you don't expect that, bang, the ark is going to be closed, and then see you later, rapture of the church. That's my view on it, folks. All right, thanks for watching, and hopefully I can do another video soon for you guys. All right, talk to you guys later.